Hey, Steeler Nation. Sullen Steeler Nation today after a tough loss there to the Los Angeles, Las Vegas now. What city they're in? Oakland? Who knows? Raiders. I'm sure they're going to go to San Diego someday. Tough game, Colton. I know at least Steeler crowd was way into it early. They definitely showed up to tailgate, definitely had a good time out in the parking lot. But then once we got into the game, it seemed like a strange crowd. Like they forgot how to cheer in like the second and third quarter. Renegade played, then they started having a little bit more fun at the end. How did it feel crowd-wise from watching it on TV?
It was weird. I felt like it was just a weird game in general, though. If you pay attention to how the tempo of the game went, the Raiders seemed to dominate the whole game. I never felt like the Steelers were actually in the game, to be honest with you. I thought they were slow getting it together offensively, and I thought I wasn't at the stadium. Was there a buzzkill when TJ got hurt? Once people realized TJ was hurt, was there a buzz like that, like kind of quiet out the stadium?
Yeah. We couldn't hear it at all. We didn't really even know what was going on except me following on Twitter, and I let everybody know. And guys, I'm right here at 412 Brewery up here on North Side, having a good time up here with the great people here at 412 Brewery, drinking a Lebowski Hefeweizen, enjoying myself, obviously. But yeah, we got kicked in the groin. We got kicked in the groin before the game started with groin injuries with Joe Hayden and Devin Bush coming out of nowhere. Then we got a groin injury to our all-world player, TJ Watt. Tyson Alualu going down with a broken ankle. We'll have to see the severity of what it is, but that's usually a 2-month injury. Groins are usually a 1-month injury. So we are the walking wounded now. And right at the end of the game, I know it sounds like DJ Johnson just got hurt right at the end of the game as well. I also know that we had Trey Turner kicked out of the game for a dumb reason. I think he spit on somebody. And was that all the injuries? It seemed like we got more people injured. Tyson Alualu I talked about. Yeah, it seems like everybody got injured. Definitely their egos got injured. I know that.
Yeah, a lot of people of importance were hurt in this game or didn't play because of injury. So this is a really bad loss, and the injuries on top of it, man. It's not like you got the win and then the injuries. No, it all happened in the same game, sadly.
Right, and I'm flipping my screen up this way. I know it's going to look weird on your screens, but I'm trying to get to some of these great comments and questions that we have over here from Steeler Nation. And I know we have a first one up. All right, let me see if I can flip it sideways and see it. I'm an old man. I can't read this thing. What's it say?
We have people asking any word on Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Once they lost TJ and Tyson, our pass rush dissolved, which I have to agree. The Steelers were the least percentage of blitzing week one. Steelers brought a lot of blitzes in this game trying to get home, especially on that play to Ruggs. The Steelers brought pressure. They didn't get there, and as you can tell, they got burnt on the back end.
Right.
And Minka jumped over late. He was shading on Waller, and he got beat. And
because he was defending Waller on that play. Yeah. So it's tough. So you're in charge of the chats now. I can't see them low, but once you put them up, I'll be able to read them.
Yep, yeah. I can gladly read them to you. We got someone saying, once we lost TJ and Tyson, our pass rush dissolved. I agree. Got Justin saying, guys, we can't beat the Raiders ever. I'm confused, which I agree. I was kind of nervous coming to this game because they do struggle with the Raiders for some reason. So good question from Justin.
And it was odd this time. Pardon me. I remember like losing to the Raiders because Ben threw like 4 interceptions in one of the games. I remember like losing to the Raiders because now this is injuries. Like this is a unique experience. We were a little banged up going into it. We had a couple new players starting with Pierre over there trying to jump in and help out. Did all right. I mean, I know he had an up and down game, and I think he was the one that got burnt on that last big play?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Yeah, it looked like it came from the right side. So
it was Witherspoon.
It's tough. I mean, it's growing pains. They were attacking our weaknesses, which is smart for Gruden to do. And, we got to accept that we were outcoached the way that you outcoach a team when they're down and they're banged up. You start attacking those players they first bring on the field. You see if they can hang with you, and if they can't answer, then you just keep exploiting it. And that's looked like what happened today. I mean, obviously they didn't even try to run it really all day today, except for the end of the game when they were just trying to eat clock. They really didn't have to set up a running game. It seemed like Carr was able to keep the ball moving downfield. I mean, the Steelers defense was doing a fairly decent job stopping them in the first half. We held them to field goals like we did in that against Buffalo. But problem was in the second half, they started getting some touchdowns and we couldn't hold them to field goals. And that was the difference in the game.
Yeah, I mean, just a huge step from last week's defense to this week. Again, they did their job. They held out Waller, who was, I mean, absolutely insane last week. And we know that's the number one guy. Everyone in America that watches football knows that's the Raiders' number one guy. And I was waiting all day for the Ruggs shot down the field. You didn't see it. And when they finally took it, they delivered and drilled the touchdown to Ruggs.
Yeah, and that's it just happens sometimes. It's a difficult situation, and I mean, we've got to take our lumps on this one, Steeler Nation. It's a tough pill to swallow when you lose a game. I mean, but still, the offense has to get some kind of consistency. It's starting to look like last year's offense. You can't get any significant blocking. Ben's got to get rid of the ball quickly. Ben's doing whatever he can to try to throw some lob plays down the field to hopefully get somebody open. But those are like chuck and duck plays. And it worked the one time to Claypool. Other instances, it's just they covered us or they hit us a little early, but still it's right around the bang play when the ball's getting there. So, you know, it's difficult to try to move the football when everybody's still stacking the box and we can't run it.
Yeah, we got some people dropping questions in here. Going to be a long season. I guess Tomlin mentioned the injury at the end of the game to Deontay Johnson, said it's a knee injury. So hopefully nothing of geez, I mean, what a gut punch that would be, huh? Losing and a useless play, Deontay Johnson, significant injury. God, that'd be awful.
And really, I the answer would be you're going to have to start playing Washington over there in the X spot. Washington, in my opinion, he's a better Z receiver. I mean, if you're talking about positionally, it's probably smartest to put Juju at the X and then put Ray in the slot. But that still leaves Washington off the field. But personnel-wise, that puts our best receivers at those positions on the field. Because if Claypool went down immediately, like Watt's a plug and play for Claypool as a Z receiver. But at the X, you know, you might want to split. You might want to start using the two tight end sets, keep Juju out there on the X, as opposed to having him run in slot and run Claypool on the other side. So that's going to have to be the way going forward because we really don't have an answer. We really don't have somebody that's that quick type of receiver that can come in and get those catches because Ray is built to be a slot receiver. He's not built to be an X receiver. And, you know, I'd say that, you know, Washington can do it, but I put Washington at third on the X, which we talked about before on these podcasts, behind Juju. I'd rather slide Juju back out of the slot, put him at the X, and then either have Ray in the slot or, that's got to be the way you go, or go with an extra tight end.
We have another question. Our secondary has no depth. Don't understand the play calling, especially on fourth down calls. He said we'll be lucky to finish 8-8. I think that's an overreaction. I didn't understand the fourth down play calling. I didn't understand going for it. Fourth and I mean, what, a yard, not even.
In that situation, I was expecting us to go. Yeah, I was expecting us to go too, Colton. You're right.
It just made no sense when you go for it in the first quarter on a 4th and 6. I get it's middle of nowhere. Punt it, pin them deep. Don't give them the ball at the 40-yard line and all right, now they got the whole field. And it was just really questionable, man. I didn't like the Steelers. You knew going into the game after a few possessions for the Raiders, they said, we're not running the ball. We're not doing it. I don't care if the box is – if you're giving me the opportunity to run the ball. I'm not taking it. And they didn't run it. Figured they were pinned deep. That great punt by Presley Harvin pins them inside the 5. And you're thinking, oh, great, we're going to get good field position. No, first play was a dump out in the flat to Kenyon Drake, and first down. Then they got real estate to throw the ball more. It was like, how'd you not know that was coming? Like, it was just really head scratching from the Steelers, to be honest.
Yeah, and that's you were starting to get the end game at that point with the 4th and 1. I thought for sure we were going to go out and go, but you know, to our credit, we were able to get the ball back. We scored a long field goal and had a chance then at the end of the game to get the ball back one more time with 2 minutes and a timeout, but they completed that long pass, and that was on third and long. They didn't complete that pass. We were getting the ball back. So that ended up being the game.
Yeah, it was so frustrating because you knew the Steelers were there. They just couldn't get to Carr. After TJ went out, you never really saw pressure from Melvin or Highsmith.
Yeah. And when you have questions, tap on them so I can read it because it's a little loud here. I'm not sure. How's my vocals here? Can you hear me fine?
No, I hear you fine. Yep.
Perfect. Good.
I can't post the questions because you're the host, but I can read them off to you. Oh, son of a gun.
Well,
I can read them to you, though.
Yeah, you have to read them because I can't see them.
So Chow Dad also says they doubled Waller all game, which made the rest of the defense have to go into zone. That's fine. And for the most part, they didn't really get beat. It was methodically. They slowly went down the field fine, and that's kind of the way the Steelers usually do business. Don't get burnt deep. Right. Let it stay in front of you. So they did their job. They didn't let their number one guy beat them. And just a one play they got toasted on, and it was that deep ball to Ruggs. And I watched it live, and I'm sitting there like, damn, if Minka doesn't run towards Ruggs and just run straight back, he actually makes a play. The problem is he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, so he runs to Ruggs, and the problem is that ball led him away from Minka, so Minka had no shot of getting there. Yeah. I mean, kudos to Minka for jumping off a Waller to try to make a play on that. I'm not holding him as fault at that. Obviously, the cornerback and trail position is the fault, but you got to cover Waller. I mean, he was on him, and he did the smart thing and pulled off of him. But when you're down 4 starters, you've got to understand we're going to be playing more zone. We can't go into our unique concepts like we had been doing with having Minka being able to move all over the place, having Bush and Schobert being able to move all over the place, Ingram as well, swapping him in and out, and being able to rotate Sutton as well. But today Sutton had to be locked in that left cornerback spot. I mean, I doubt he'd taken any snaps at all from the slot. I didn't watch it on TV, but just personnel-wise, that would make the most sense. And does anyone know? Did you know if Witherspoon even got in for any plays? He got burnt. That was him that got burnt on that Ruggs play.
Oh, so that was Witherspoon on the field.
Yes.
Oh, son of a gun. That sucks. Especially his first game in as a Steeler. Yeah, that's a tough pill to swallow too.
Yeah, it was really frustrating. I know some of the fans here, the people are in the comments right now. Fitzpatrick needs to start making some plays, says Gabe Gotti. He says,
yeah. Hey, Gabe, how you doing? Good to hear from you, man.
Chow Dad. Can Washington do punt and kick returns like right? No, he's not. He's not that kind of.
No, next punt returner is Deontay Johnson, who is now injured with what might possibly be a severe knee injury.
Yeah, it's just more with Washington. Washington complained, or he had the little rumblings in the end of camp, not getting on the field. He was on the field today. He had a ball hit his hand and dropped it. So
he did.
How are you going to make some plays when you're dropping the ball in your hands?
Right.
And then he doesn't make that vertical play. Again, I'm not blaming him for that because he didn't get open. It happens. But my gosh, you complain about not getting on the field, and the ball hits your hands, and you're able to make a play, and you don't catch the ball. What are the Steelers supposed to do about that? Like, you can't go out running your mouth and like, I want to get traded, I want to play, and then when you are on the field, you don't catch the ball. So that's kind of like devil's advocate with James Washington.
Yeah. I mean, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. That's exactly what you're saying, man, and I hear you. And I feel you for that. At least some positives from today I want to talk about. We had a fun tailgate over the Steel Nation tailgate. The Yinsers, all 3 of them were there and in town, and they were selling some gear. They had some hats to sell. So the pregame tailgate was a blast. I got to meet a lot of different people. Arthur Motes was there. Got to shake his hand, meet his family, meet his wife, meet his kids. So we had a really, really good time at the tailgate. Problem was that the tailgate had to end and the game had to start.
Yeah, not a great way to. You have a wonderful time at the tailgate and walk into a game that is not as exciting. And the injuries. I mean, geez, Tyson. I was watching the Ben documentary and I saw Tyson Fish and I'm like, dude, he's gonna be big this year. I love how he took last night, fractured ankle. It's like, come on, man, no to it. To even try to fill the void for a little bit, to fill that time and. Just not a great day. All the injuries and the loss on top of it, it really stings.
And this is kind of like a lot of Steeler fans may forget too. Oh, we lost to Tebow. Tebow was horror. You know, there's no excuse from losing to Tebow. But you end up losing. You know, Aaron Smith drops in that game. Casey Hampton drops in that game in the first period, and then you're done. We don't have a defensive line. They're running the ball more. Our pass rush couldn't get there. When we went cover zero, we tried to blitz hard. It killed us in overtime. So, you know, those types of things you got to keep in mind too.
Trent McLean with a really big question here. Look, our defense helped us beat Buffalo last weekend while we were in full strength. This week when we were banged up with starters out, and it showed. Our offensive line is extremely green and will take a little time to adjust to the NFL. Once our O-line catches up and start playing consistently, the running game and Harris were rolling to 80-plus yards a game. Personnel fouls by our young players really hurt us today, and I should have corrected ASAP. I believe we will win 11-plus games this season.
And I will say one thing. We need, if the running game is not there, we need to get Najee Harris involved in the passing game. And it was really kind of hurting us today. Like we went to him later when didn't he score a touchdown on that pass? Wasn't that technically a receiving touchdown?
For who?
For Najee Harris.
Yes, that was a touchdown receiving for Najee.
And that would seem to be like the only time we really went to him as a passing option. We'd split him out a lot of times. We'd bring him in. We'd run him in motion, but we didn't really utilize him in the passing game where we were always trying to throw the ball downfield and hit the wide receivers and the tight ends. And Muth had a good game. It was good to see Muth get this type of these types of big money catches, move the chains, tough catches, getting hit, people on him. Like, loved watching that out of Muth. That's a positive, and that's something to take out of that rookie. He's a tough rookie.
Yeah, I think it proved a lot with him because you saw Ebron drop that ball early. We never really saw another view of it where if he could have caught it or not. It sure as heck looked like it should have been caught. And after that, you never really saw him, to be honest. If you think about it, you never saw Ebron really on the field again after that. And it was a lot of Pat, and Pat made some plays.
Yeah, well, you had to have blocking. Catches. Yeah, you had to have some blocking, and Ebron and even as a blocker in the passing game, he's non-existent. I watched him on one play. I mean, he didn't even make an attempt really to hit the guy going in like a chip and release. He just ran, like he let the guy run in free. Of course, Ben had no time, so kind of sucks in that situation.
Yeah, again, like the comment had said, the line is young. Saw a little fire from Kendrick Green today in there, getting a little chippy with Corey Littleton. It was just a really interesting game for the Steelers. The line's going to get better. I know it will, and you got to give it time. But, man, it just really hurts seeing these injuries. Gary Dulac just posted Tyson's having surgery tomorrow. Season is over for him. So sucks to see that.
So if it sounds like his tibia and his fibula are broken, we got Steeler Nation right here, yeah.
So his season is done.
That's got to be a tibia-fibia fracture. It's a compound fracture. It's got to be a nasty one if it's going for surgery. So prayers to him and his family. Our photographer Jordan was actually right next to his family when the injury occurred. Tears were shed, unfortunately, from his wife, and of course they started rushing down to the tunnel to start becoming part and at least to get down there to help support Tyson while he was in the training room getting ready. Probably, it sounds like they sent him straight out to the hospital at that point.
Yeah, it sucks. A guy probably towards the end of his career took less to come back. Whole COVID situation with him and his family, and he comes back for less. It sucks, dude. He's a good dude. And, Cam was talking about him in his presser before we hopped on here. I was watching that. Cam was excited for him and expected big things from him. And just like Steeler Nation, because he was great last year before he got banged up. And to go out this way, it's absolutely heartbreaking for him.
It is. And he's just such a great story. He can kind of like out of nowhere and just performed above and beyond at the end of his career to be that, really started off as being that edge defensive end player, stepping in for Tuitt when Tuitt went down, and he played with great. And then he ended up switching over to nose tackle once we lost Hargrave. Chose not to go to Jacksonville. he ate a contract in Jacksonville because of COVID, kept him 1 week later. Team begged him to come back. He's like, I'm coming back to Pittsburgh. That was the greatest gift to Steeler Nation he has ever given to us. And we can't forget that, Steeler Nation. What he dumped Jacksonville for us this season. And unfortunately now his season's over. But man, what a player he was for us.
For sure. We have some questions coming in. Caleb Kittner, it looks like, said, Ben is not the issue. Play calling in the line is a bigger problem. How are you guys feeling? We kind of knew that the line was going to be a work in progress. They're going to get better over the season. I do think play calling is the issue. I haven't really seen anything with the change in the offense over the years, from Todd Haley to Randy to now Matt Canada. I have not seen a change in the offense. It's a lot of the same. It's a lot of screens and short passes at the line, in my opinion. I don't know if that's a Ben thing, saying I don't want to get hit. Let's keep it short. Let the guys do stuff after the catch. I don't know if that's what it is. Matt Canada has a lot of motion and stuff, which is different compared to Randy's offense and stuff like that. But I feel like it's a lot at the line. I don't know what your thoughts. You clearly think differently. I just think it's a lot at the line. I want to see him get down the field a little bit more and use these guys in space.
Colton, I'll agree with you and I'll disagree with you. I'll agree with you the fact that what looks the same is when Ben's running the offense. When we're doing the quick up-tempo offense, we've been seeing that for 20 years. He knows how to run the up-tempo offense, kind of doing those streak where the receivers aren't really doing much wiggle. It's just all streak plays. Everybody's kind of getting down, getting deep, getting open, and he's hitting people. That was part of Arians, and that's where I disagree with you. Arians was more like hang in the pocket, we're throwing deep. Hang in the pocket, we're throwing intermediate and deep. Then we had Haley. Haley's like, you're getting rid of the ball in under 3 seconds, man, because we got to have you in this league another like 5-6 years. And that's what he did, and get rid of the ball quickly. He's really good at it. But the only difference now is Matt Canada trying to institute his offense, utilizing the play action, utilizing the personnel, utilizing the shifts and the motion. And it worked really well with the running plays. I mean, we got a rushing touchdown off of a motion play with Claypool near the goal line. We got a nice big end around, which was the big end around from the receiver today. Because we ran the big.
If you're telling Juju got a touchdown,
Juju had
a little end around thing.
And then we went opposite the other play, which I liked the idea of that play call. And when we tried to, where we went like sweep, we went sweep to the right, and then we tried doing like a jet sweep to the left the next play. And I thought that was a brilliant play call, just to have to kind of keep them off balance. But they read that play. They were able to stop that one on the second one. So you at least have a guy that's trying to utilize the strength and have plays set up plays. And I see that. Like, I didn't see plays setting up plays with Haley. I just saw Haley trying to get rid of the ball quickly, a lot of bubble screens. Screens are a part of every game. It's when you utilize them, would they work. I didn't see a whole lot of screens today. I saw a couple like wide receiver flares and a couple quick wide receiver passes at the line of scrimmage, but I really didn't notice any screens per se today. But then again, I was in the stands. You may correct me on that, Cole.
No, you're correct. No, it was more the first half. I saw a lot of those short passes, like right in the flat to Johnson. He had like 2 of them. So it wasn't just the whole game, but Caleb is still straightforward on this one. He goes a lot of short passes, no matter the situation. I think the offense will fit better with Canada going down the stretch as the line gets better, because that means the run games will be more effective, and then the play action is going to be set up perfectly. Figure Claypool dropped a touchdown with Casey Hayward on him. It hit his hands, and he never caught it. It would have been a big play for a touchdown. He does later on catch another one down the field. And it's just like, why are you throwing that ball? But you have one-on-one with Claypool. You got to take the shot. He usually makes a play, and he didn't there, sadly.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, we have some question here. Hawkeye, Ben's a legend, but his lack of speed and mobility is catching up with him. Mobile quarterbacks create more options. Yes, of course they create more options, but Ben has made plays. Look at the Detroit game. He looked like old Ben in the preseason, that first. So I think it's just going to come over time, getting used to it. The line's new. I mean, again, we're expecting a lot. We get Najee Harris, so you're expecting a huge upgrade. The line's all new. There's a lot of young players. Zach Banner was supposed to be in here this year. He's banged up, hopefully back soon. You're getting Dan Moore wasn't supposed to start. He was a 4th-round pick.
Nope.
Expect to be a guy for the future. He gets thrown in there. Chooks is like, all right, you're there now. So guys are getting thrown in spots they weren't supposed to be in the preseason. or going into the regular season, they're there. And Trey Turner getting tossed didn't help the offensive line either. So that stuff can't happen out of a veteran like Trey Turner. That can't happen. Hopefully Tomlin gets to him with that. Like that can't happen. I know a lot of players are trying to stop him. I don't know what happened there. That stuff got so heated, but that can't happen. You're a veteran Pro Bowler. You can't do that in a close game. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
And I'll tell you about Ben, too. Yeah, he might not be the most mobile guy, but, man, is he hard to bring down. And I'll tell you 2 plays that he made today that no other quarterback in the league can make. The one with the guy hanging all over him when he gets out to the outside and throws that ball away to avoid a 10-yard loss. The second one with the guy dipped on him, and he ends up not being able to throw overhand, so he chucks it rugby style forward to Najee Harris. Those are 2 plays that your quarterback can make because he's a smart guy that no other guy in the league can make. So, yeah, we lose some with the mobility. We might our next quarterback might be a little bit more mobile, but Ben does stuff, too, that no other quarterback can do. And I've always loved Ben's improvisation and his ability to pull a play out of a loss.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think it is more comes down to with this offense over the season is getting the pressure up front. These guys need to get to the second level in the run game. You saw some bigger runs today at Najee at some times, but still nothing what you were expecting. I thought we'd have a 100-yard rushing game by week 2 by now. He's not there yet. I expect better from him. It's going to happen. The line's new, like I just mentioned. So I think it's going to get there, but it just hurts. This one hurts.
Sorry, we had an ambulance by here. I couldn't hear a thing.
No, you're good. I'm just saying the line's going to get better.
Yeah.
And the offense is going to get better, I think. Hopefully we just didn't avoid a big injury with Deontay Johnson. Be alert for that one. Pay attention to that. See how that goes.
Yeah. And no, it's going to suck. Like, groin injuries suck. They're like a month. I've gotten groin injuries. I play hockey. The only way they heal is you sit down and you do nothing for a month. You can walk. You can go around and do stuff. Like, these guys are ultra competitors, and I'm a competitor as well. But like, if you try to train on it, if you try to push it, if you try to do it, you're going to tweak it again. Your month starts over. So like, you got to tell these guys you got to rest for a month. So then they're going to come back. They're not going to be in as shape as they were, if that's the angle they're going to be taking for this. But that's kind of what you have to do at this point. But it sucks, man. We're getting kicked in the groin.
Yeah, it sucks.
Next question.
Key guys on the defense with groin injuries. Chow Dad's back here. Other news for the guys here. Presley Harvin had a good game. Boz was automatic with the longest field goal in Heinz Field history.
Yep. That was a great Chow. Awesome call. That was a perfect. 56 yards. That is the longest field goal in Heinz Field history. I think the longest before that was a 52-yarder, and I thought that was by Boz, because I think there's only been one 50-yarder hit by an opposing player in Heinz Field thus far.
Yes. Yeah. Again, the special teams was good. He flipped the field. Presley, he definitely took a better step in the right direction from last week. He still wasn't bad. He had that one shank last week, but he was definitely better. It's going to get better. This season isn't going to start off like world beaters. I think it's down the stretch when the Steelers make their hay. They got to win this week. Everyone's 1-1 in the division. As long as the Ravens win tonight, if they do, everyone's going to be 1-1 in the division. Would have loved to see the Steelers take advantage.
Cleveland won today?
Yes.
So Cleveland won? What was the score?
Yes.
You remember?
I think it was 31. Hold on. I'm on my phone right now. Hold on. It's 31-21. Tyrod Taylor had them sweating a little bit early. Taylor did get hurt in that game after a rushing touchdown, and it kind of fizzled out for the Texans. So he's out Thursday as well for the Texans. But looked like the Browns might have caught a break with Tyrod getting hurt in that game because looked like the Texans were handling it early. It was 14-7 at one point, and then then he got hurt, and then started fizzling out for the Texans.
But every game is week to week. Figure out a way to get this personnel in a way we can be successful.
G's out here.
And I'm
ambulance.
for ambulances. Ellie, that's another ambulance going to go help out another injured Steeler. There's plenty of injured. I think somebody just hurt themselves walking out of the stadium because that's the way to the nation. It's been absolutely terrible for injuries. Like Spillane getting injured in the freaking warm-up drills. Crazy. The way we're getting injuries this year is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I know someone put in the chat for Steeler Nation earlier. They were healthy going into Thursday. Like, what happened? Bush, Hayden, both out with groin injuries going into practice Thursday.
Yeah.
But
something happened in practice.
Disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least we don't have the same turf that the Ravens installed in their practice facility because of ACL.
Don't put that on me. Don't put that on me, Ricky. Today was already bad enough. Don't put any more on me, all right? Jeez, don't put that bad juju on me, Jeez. Don't do that to me. Might have lost you there. I'm not sure if you're freezing or not. Yep. Oh, you're gone. G is gone just like that. Oh, is he back?
Chat.
There he is. You're back now.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, I was frozen.
What were your thoughts on Robert Spillane today? I thought he was flying around the field, making some hits.
Phenomenal. And I am back last row at 228, and I noticed him sideline to sideline, killing it. Loved seeing a freaking of inside linebacker he is. We saw it in the Ravens game last year when he had that big interception return for a touchdown, making plays all over the field when he was healthy. Unfortunately, he ended up getting injured last year as well, which is why we had to pick up Avery Williamson. But, man, I can't be happier for Spillane. I love Spillane. I've got the word.
Oh, G's gone again. He's back again.
Am I back again? Hey, I'm back again. Yeah, but loved everything he did today. Absolutely loved it.
What were your thoughts on the penalties? One more question, see if any more come in. What were your thoughts on the penalties? I thought they were really inconsistent. I thought that 3rd down and 10 at the end of the game, that ball to Claypool, that safety getting hurt on the play. If you watch the replay, he's leading with his head.
Yes.
And they don't throw a flag there. I was kind of confused.
Yeah, that was technically targeting. Yeah, because he went head first, and unfortunately, he's got a severe head neck injury because of it. Yeah. But it should have been called as a targeting play, or at least as a leading with the head play, which is illegal right now in the NFL.
Yeah, targeting's college, but it should have been a personal foul leading with the helmet. They do call.
True. Yes.
So it's not technically targeting, but they do call leading with the crown of the helmet, which it was. Because if he doesn't lead with the crown of his helmet, he doesn't get hurt, and he's not concussed like he was. Hopefully he makes a speedy recovery, but the inconsistency was there.
On that personal foul, like we had a guy kicked out of the game for spitting, it sounded like, but it sounded like the other time that the 2 offsetting personal fouls happened, was there a punch thrown by a Raiders player?
No, it looked like he was getting into it, and he kind of threw his hand up. It didn't throw a punch. It was Thomas. That was the same scuffle with Trey Turner, and Trey Turner spit on him. And I think if Trey doesn't spit on him, Steelers are probably, getting 15 yards on the kickoff and not getting penalized, sadly. But
it's a dumb play.
It was.
And that's a veteran guard cannot miss having at the end of a crucial game with a lot of young talent, because the way who was our backup right now at guard? Who came in for Trey Turner?
Finney.
Was that Hassenauer?
No, I think it was Finney.
Or Finney. Okay, Finney. Yeah.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. He's got to be better. I know Ben and probably Tomlin are going to talk to him, or maybe just Tomlin. You can't do that. You got a young offensive line. You're the veteran of that offensive line, and getting booted out of the game. Yes.
Yep. He's right. He's absolutely that's a rookie play. That's a rookie play made by a Pro Bowl veteran that should know better. That's a factor in this loss. It really is.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Chow, Dad back again. Ben got hit a lot.
Chow. Huh?
You said Ben got hit a lot today, and I don't disagree. Ben did get hit a lot.
He did. And we were kind of expecting it. We know Raiders have a good pass rush, and Ben did a good job of getting the ball out, to tell you the truth, for the most part, but he took his shots.
Also, a lot of miscommunication with the offense today, and especially with Ben and Johnson. That Ben interception, I guess it was Ben looked for contact on DJ, and DJ, I guess, stopped running his route.
He
Ben
stopped
threw
running. I
overthrown
yelled.
him.
I yelled when I saw it because I had the full view of the field at the time, and you just cannot stop running your pattern. Absolutely, that was the biggest reason why that ball was intercepted.
And same thing happened later on. Incomplete pass. Ben was looking for a shot to Johnson, and I guess Johnson stopped on the route for, I guess it might have been curling back or a comeback route. He stopped. Miscommunication there. Ben overthrows it. This stuff you didn't see, because usually Ben and Johnson are on the same page.
Right.
That's what I thought was kind of interesting today. So hopefully Johnson.
Well, Ben and Antonio Brown were always on the same page, and that's difficult because we're seeing Johnson is not Antonio Brown in that respect. He's, right now his football IQ is nowhere near what Antonio Brown's football IQ was, and that's why Antonio Brown was an all-world player. Deontay Johnson is still learning, and I hope he's still learning because he's getting better at not dropping the ball, but he's got to be smarter at these routes.
Yeah, I think he's got the potential to be really special, and for the most part, him and Ben are usually on the same page. Today, it was like, it looks like a week one kind of deal where they couldn't get it figured out, but that's what was weird about this game also. But going back to the penalties, I just didn't understand the flag on Derek Carr. He's a runner. Derek Carr's a runner on that
right.
play.
That's exactly what I screamed in the stadium. He didn't get hit in the head. He didn't slide. He was hit hard, but he is a runner. He is a runner. He jumped and pulled his knees up, but he wasn't sliding. That's not a slide. And you should be able to get hit fully as hard as we can. Because that one was rightfully booed in the stands by the fans because that was a horrible call. I mean, calls aside, I'm not saying we lost the game because of calls. No. I'd put this one more on injuries, miscommunication because of the injuries, having new personnel in there, not understanding their assignments as fully as the starters understand their assignments, and it cost us the game. It really did.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Tossing guys out there that, like Witherspoon, for example, shouldn't be playing. He's got to get into the thick of things.
I want Witherspoon to be on the field. I want him to play. I want him to get comfortable in his role, but he's got to understand his role first. He's got to help out the defense to make sure that he's last man back, because that ended up costing us the game.
Yeah, and got to make tackles. I thought there was.
So was Justin Lane not on the field then? I guess Justin Lane wasn't even playing then if they had Witherspoon on the field in that situation.
Justin Lane filled in a few times. I know he made a tackle on Renfro that pushed Renfro forward for a first down. I thought there was a lot of missed tackles, and
there were a lot of missed. I just saw Sutton miss one. The secondary in general, they were missing. They looked fooled on out plays. They looked fooled on flares. And then they were trying to come up to make the tackles. They were missing them, and they were getting big plays off of them. That was the difficult to watch as a Steeler fan today.
Chow Dad back again. DJ got one later that he kept running and didn't rely on the ref to call penalty, which is correct. That was that deep ball down the sideline on illegal contact. He also said Spillane took the fall in that one in the post-game interview. So I guess Spillane, I know Ben took some blame for the game as well. So thank you for that, Chow.
Spillane should take 0. Spillane was the only person on the field other than Hayward still making plays after the big guys went down. After we lost Alu, after we lost Watt, they were really the only positives that we heard from that point on.
Yeah, hopefully the secondary is
Ingram had a good sack too. I think another Steeler they got to bring out. I think somebody on the coaching staff just had an arrhythmia. They're taking him to the hospital right now. This is breaking news for Steeler Nation. This is a joke because
you seriously are in ambulance lane over there. They got to call that road.
I had the hospital. I am in North Shore area. The hospital is down here. This is the extension. It's the street that the the West End Bridge is on and comes off of. So they got to come this way if they're coming over for to get to the hospital. And anything off of Allegheny, I guess they're coming this way as well.
You know what I always question with the defense when they do it? Melvin Ingram in the pass coverage game. I didn't understand that. There was like 3 straight plays when Melvin Ingram's dropping back in coverage. I don't know if you saw that in the stands. I sure as heck know I'd be going nuts.
We did.
It was just like really questionable. I didn't understand. He's not as athletic as other players. If you know you're going to drop him back, why not put a Marcus Allen in the game? I don't understand.
Or why not swap sides? Because he and Highsmith have been swapping sides all preseason. Highsmith's the better cover outside linebacker of the two. Let him rush. Let Highsmith go back. That's
I didn't understand.
Honestly that puts us in better shape. But hindsight's 2020, guys. We didn't know it was going to be an issue until it was an issue.
Yeah, well, now we know it's an issue, but they always love putting their linebackers in bad spots. That's something I've screamed my head at Keith Butler over the years. I know a lot of teams do it, where they do put their linebacker on a receiver and all that and put them in tough spots. But, man, it's just really frustrating seeing a guy like Melvin Ingram get put on an island. It's like a waste of a player. It's like, Kenyon Drake, I'm going to scoot right by you. I know you're just a downhill, get to the quarterback. I'm just going to scoot right by you. And he did. He didn't even get a foot on him, nothing.
Right.
And he was gone, and Kenyon Drake got his first down.
And then for inside linebacker, we saw Schobert make a good play earlier in the game, later in the game, letting up the big play. But he's there. I mean, that's why we picked him up. We want coverage linebackers because of our scheme. We want to have more linebackers on the field because that gives us the ability to play against the run and the pass at the same time. It's a strategic thing, and being able to isolate those mismatches and start exploiting the linebackers on the field, which is what teams do. And when they start exploiting it, you got to go to nickel, and then when you go to nickel, they're going to run again. So it's pick your poison, guys. And it's the game of football, and the game of football is always a game of chess. And today, it's unfortunate that Ingram was on the bad side of some of these plays, but he's a good player, and he made a nice sack for us on the field. And I'd much rather prefer him see him rushing the pasture as well.
Juan Sizemore here. Claypool has to make those combat catches,
he does. And he usually does. Like the first one he dropped, I was like, I'm surprised he dropped that. That's one he usually makes. The one that would have been a touchdown. Yeah, that's the type of play he makes. If that ball is a little bit more inside on the field as opposed to toward the sideline where Ben had it land, that was a sure touchdown. It was an absolutely sure touchdown because he beat his man.
Trevor Taylor on here. Team is not very good offensively. Yes, we know that. I think it's gonna be a work in progress. Come back in the chat in like week 6 or 7.
Week 6. If this offensive line is still the same, week 6, there's a big problem. I think this line, now that they played 2 games in a row, as long as you see improvement from week to week, that's what we want to see.
I didn't hear Max Crosby's name a lot in the broadcast.
I didn't either.
That's a good start because Max Crosby was in the backfield and was cooking out last week. He took him to school last week.
He owned Villanueva. He did not own Chooks. So Steeler Nation that was hard on Chooks last week. Crosby was not the force that he was because Chooks was playing him. So there you go. So Chooks is a better tackle than Alejandro Villanueva for what that's worth.
So what is your final recap? What is your final recap on this game? Because I mean, if you want, I can go first and have you round it out. It was a really disappointing game. I expected a lot from the Steelers, especially after a big win last week, man. That was a game I didn't expect them to win, and I was like, all right, if they can win this one today, 1-1, I'll gladly take it. They do surprise us. They win a game last week, comeback style. The offense looked good to end the game, and to see the offense sputter again today, I thought they were going to ride the momentum from last week. Got the run game going. They had a few good runs in the first half as well with Najee.
They did.
And you saw a lot of Najee in that last drive there in the passing game.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of hoping that can lead into next week because this guy can catch the ball. Like, he's not Connor who's going to drop it and it's like, oh, gosh, I got to get someone out there to catch it. This guy can catch it. I expect a lot next week. It's like a must-win next week with the Bengals. It sounds like an exaggeration, but it's a must-win if you want to stay in this race for the division. And again, it's very, very early. But the Bengals would be 2-1. I don't know who the Ravens or the Browns play next week, but Steelers are in a real tight spot, especially with these injuries, because they can linger. So they have to figure it out. If you have to sit these guys next week, it sucks. You might have to do it because you can't rush these guys back and have them linger this all season, especially at priorities of making the postseason and making a run like the Steelers have expectations to do.
And I'm with you there too. And like I said earlier, and that's a reason we don't have Samuels on the team. Jay Sam's not on the team right now. He's on the practice squad. We have McFarland. He is on injured reserve. we were going to use McFarland in this offense. We would have seen more two running back attack if McFarland was still healthy, in my opinion, because he gives us that ability to be that yin to Najee Harris's yang, a little bit quicker, a little bit better receiver, a little bit more explosive for high-end speed. And that's what we kind of need. But like I said, too, like we have to get Najee involved in the passing game if he's not involved in the running game. And we saw him in the passing game today, and he was fantastic. Fantastic in the pass. Got a touchdown, got back to the line of scrimmage and awarded a 10-yard loss on that rugby pass from Ben with guys draped all over him, ready to haul him down. I mean, you got to get that guy. You got to find ways to get that guy the ball more. And if the running lanes aren't there, find out ways to do it in the passing lanes. Have him block and release. Have him block and go, because he is going to be the engine that ends up moving the Steelers' offense for the next 5-6 years. Honestly.
Yeah, again, I think they have to do that. Put him on backers. He will make backers miss. He does it quite often. Look what he did in college.
Yep.
Another question here before we wrap this up. Scott Schroyer, looks like. Sorry, I just messed up your last name, sir. But I love the defensive game plan. I don't know if this is sarcasm. Double team Waller and let everyone else run free. To be fair, the Steelers didn't really get beat. And in the one play they got beat, it sticks out like a sore thumb because clearly that was the nail in the coffin for the most part. But I thought the Steelers had a really good game plan. I think the injuries up front with pass rushers like Tyson and TJ going out makes a difference because you're usually having a fresh Melvin come in, a fresher Highsmith. Yep. And when you lose TJ, I mean, you see the impact. He already got a sack in the first half, a strip sack again. That makes a huge difference when you miss a top 3 player in football get hurt and you miss the second half. Yeah. That puts a lot more pressure on everyone else. And the Raiders know that. That means they're going to go a little more tempo and gas out Ingram, gas out Highsmith, Cam, Wormley, and the rest of the guys.
And, Scotty, you got to be happy. Honestly, you got to be happy that the Steelers took out Waller. Waller single-handedly destroyed the Ravens last week. Absolutely did it. We lament the success of the New England Patriots. And what do they do best on defense? They take out what you do best. They eliminate it from your game plan and force you to change your game plan. Our game plan was to eliminate Waller. We did it. We succeeded. Unfortunately, with the injuries, we weren't able to help out in the other locations, and the other players ended up making the plays to beat us. And kudos to the Raiders for doing this. There's 2 teams on the field. There's 2 teams on the field every time we play. But I am happy that they went with their game plan, and it did succeed, and they did remove Waller from the game.
Yeah, again, it's a double-edged sword. You take away Waller or you don't take away Waller, and he kills you like he did to the Ravens last week. Over 100 catches, or over 100 yards, 10 catches, touchdown. Yep. He destroyed him last week. There's nothing you can do. You took him away, and if to be honest, if Witherspoon probably isn't new to the team, he probably doesn't get burnt down the field. I kind of knew it was going to happen eventually. I was surprised when they finally did take their shot. I'm like, dude, why haven't they taken a shot to Ruggs with the Sear coming in for Hayden? Just a lot of question marks in the back end. I'm shocked it took that long to take the shot, and Minka was really close, and that's a problem. Minka was shading, doubling Waller, and it's what happens, man. It's a double-edged sword. You do if you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. I mean, that's what happened.
And one final note for me: tight ends always murder the Steelers. 2 straight games we took out the tight ends. Just so you know, moving forward.
And it's going to make a better impact because then you don't have to double him with that because you can play a Devin Bush on him. You can play a Joe Sherbert on him. But Devin Bush was out, so it put isolation on guys like Robert Spillane, who is starting to get back into the ring of things, and he's not necessarily a great cover linebacker. We've seen him get exploited, in preseason and stuff, and he looked bad. Today he looked great. So when you're missing a guy like Devin Bush, that makes a huge impact. Joe Hayden as well.
Right. Cool.
Yeah, that's all I got for you, G. No more other questions.
Yeah, no, that's great. Hey, thanks, Steeler Nation. Thank you for chiming in. We know a loss is tougher to deal with than a win, but you can learn anything from any game. And right now, we're going to learn what our depth is because next week we're going to have a lot of new players out there on the field. At least they're going to get a full week in the system to understand what their roles are. I expect us to look a little bit better on defense, but the unfortunate thing is losing those 4 starters completely changed our top 3 defense now into a middle range defense. So we're going to have to stop teams with offense. Offense has to step it up next week to have a chance to beat the Bengals.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And Juan Sizemore's back said Muth needs more plays, and I think we will see Muth actually as a tight end 1 next week, not sharing with Ebron. I think he'll be the full force guy going forward for the Steelers.
Right. Hey, can't disagree with that. Hey, thank you very much, Steeler Nation. Love talking with you. We will be back again. Obviously, we got Tuesday. We got the vidcast right around 1 o'clock, right after the presser. So I'll be jumping on that. So jump on to SteelerNation.com YouTube/Steeler Nation to jump on to the vidcast, ask questions in real time like you're doing now. And we'll see you next week. We'll see you this week. It is Sunday. We'll see you on Tuesday.
That's right.
All right, dude. Thank you very much, Colton, man. I'll see you soon.